Hey everyone, before we jump into some great Lorcana games, I wanted to give a quick intro. So this video shows off one of the decks from my previous video, the Amber Emerald Aggro deck. That video breaks down the entire deck list, the goals of the deck, and some of the strengths and weaknesses. And this video walks through some great gameplay and is fantastic for anyone wanting to run a similar aggro list. So for anyone curious, I'm playing digitally on a fan-made client called Pixelborn, but you can also play on Tabletop Simulator. This is my first time playing Lorcana while also recording commentary live as I play, so apologies if things start off a bit slow, but the games are all really great examples of how this deck works, and after a game or two I get into a great rhythm of explaining my thought process each turn. I initially planned to edit this down to the best 2 matches or so, but I've decided to keep all 6 games I played in a row with nothing cut out because I think every game has something to offer for someone who wants to learn this deck. So drop a comment and let me know which deck you want me to run through next time, and let's get into some Lorcana. Alright, so for the mulligan, this is perfect. You really just want Lilo and Simba. I could even get rid of all of these, but what I'll do is I'll keep a couple 4-drops because I do want to ink one of them and toss the other one down on 4. This is a decent hand. I could choose what I want on 2, put the other on 3, assuming I don't draw a different 3-drop. And then Cusco is the best 5-drop. So this could be a mirror match. Since I have 2 4-drops, I'll ink that instead of Hans. Sometimes I want to keep Tinkerbell. If they have a lot of like rush characters, like Ruby or Amethyst, they'll just like rush Rafiki, for example, into Hans. And so then Tinkerbell's a better play. Of course, if they're running Ruby, it doesn't matter because they could, whether this is Tinkerbell or not, they could destroy it. So I assume they'll quest. I might even trade in. That's a pretty good draw. I think I could trade in, you know what I mean? And then like count on sort of catching back up. But I think I'm going to do this because they don't really have a good way to deal with Simba. Next turn, ideally, I'll draw Cheshire Cat for a 3-drop or another Lilo, and I could drop Flynn plus Lilo. That's a great 3rd turn if you have Simba. Also, if I draw Be Our Guest, I can sing it with Simba to scout for, one of those other things I mentioned. So yeah, that's pretty much exactly the turn 3 I just said I wanted to do. So I'll probably need to trade in here, which is fine. Simba trading into Lilo is great. So I'll do that. Actually, I'll do this first. Normally I would ink Rapunzel. I don't see him killing Simba, so I can actually save Rapunzel for some card draw. I don't think he's gonna kill Simba. I think he's just gonna keep racing me because he's winning the race. So you can see, this turn he'll be at 12. That'll be his 4th turn. And then his 5th turn, he could hit 8. And so that would be the turn 5 lethal. So this is an example, what he's doing of hitting the turn 5 lethal. Of of course I'm gonna stop him from doing it, but like I mentioned, if the opponent is AFK, it's super easy to turn 5 lethal. Man, he has all of his Lelos in his entire deck in his first 10 or so cards, which is not actually, which is good, you know, for him racing me, but bad in the sense that he can't ink any of them, so he kind of has to play them. I think he inked a Stitch. Okay, so I'm gonna have to start trading in here. Dang, it really sucks that I have to ink Hatter, but it's okay because I actually want to play Cusco instead. So let's just do this. Now I probably should have attacked them first actually, so that was kind of a horrible move. Yeah, let's do this. I should have attacked first and then drew an extra card, but you know, it's all good. Hello? I hate this bug. Why is this happening? There's like a lot of bugs around Flynn Rider. It wouldn't let me attack. I guess I should have tried again, but... Okay, so quick voiceover again to explain this bug. Basically, whenever Flynn Rider is attacked, because of his ability, the game wants you, the opponent, to select a card from your hand and discard it. But there's an exploit for some reason where you can avoid this by just letting the timer run out, just like you saw me do on accident. So the game won't let you challenge during this time because you're supposed to discard. And I didn't realize I had attacked into a Flynn and was now prompted to discard because I got mixed up and thought it was an issue with my own Flynn Rider. So anyways, I'm pretty certain I could have challenged after the timer had run out if I had tried again, but I thought the bug was related to my challenging. So anyways, I just decided to quest and pass my turn. So technically a bug did happen, but ultimately it just confused me and caused me to misplay. So watch out for this broken interaction if you guys are playing on Pixelborn. I've seen this bug like a dozen times and it still tripped me up, so I guess that's my fault. But the next games are happily bug and blunder free, and this game was still a great showcase of the deck. So, continue. I don't know, maybe I'll watch that back later and see what I did wrong. But yeah, this is the turn 5 lethal right there. I would have totally traded in and prevented it. So, oh well. So I'll show you what I was trying to do. So ideally, this would be my board state. He would be at 14, going on to 17, and then I have a complete control over this game. I have the next few turns. So, yeah, unfortunately, either I made a mistake or it was bugged. Unfortunately, that bug kind of completely messed me up. Well, the good news is that was a masterclass of how to run that aggro deck on both sides. Maybe I'll get matched up against him again. We can run it back. We both had really good opening hands. All right, let's see here. So I really want a mulligan for a one drop. You know, ideally it's Lilo, but I'll keep the 2, 3, 4, 5 just in case I can't find anything. So I got the 1 drop and I got Simba, which is a better 2 drop in certain situations, so that's good. Since I have 2 Flynn Riders, I'll ink 1. Stitch is a pretty good opener. He's really good if you have big Stitch, but I really don't rely on the Rockstar Stitch draw much in this deck, because by the time you get to the point in the game where Stitch is out and you summon a bunch of small guys to draw cards, the game is either over. Either you've already quested a ton, or they've taken control and you've lost the game. This might be the same guy. I honestly don't remember his name. So I'm gonna do this. I think this is a better play into Lilo. I know he has more attack, but I'd rather trade with Stitch and keep Flynn, or use Flynn to kill Lilo, than to use my Simba so fast to trade into their Simba, assuming they have it. They have Duke, Lilo. So they're doing the same thing they did last game with the multiple Lilos. Doesn't feel great, but I'm gonna ink that. And then here's the deal: I don't actually care if he attacks into Flynn too much. But I still think this is probably a good play, because I'd rather ink the Cheshire Cat next turn if I had to than to ink Simba. Sometimes it's fine to just let them attack Flynn because his discard is so good. But it actually is bugged right now. It seems like the opponent can avoid discarding a card by like waiting the timer out. Last game, something else happened, or maybe I misclicked. So they inked Rapunzel. This is interesting, because they don't have a 1, 2, or 3. So they must have a pretty bad hand. So I drew another Mad Hatter. So I'm just gonna do this. I mean, I'm just gonna trade in. I'll keep Stitch on the board, because in case I draw the big Stitch, it's pretty good. You can shift him in and just quest for 3 instead of 1. But yeah, this is, this is kind of similar to last game, except I was able to clear his whole board on turn 4 instead of what would have been turn 5 or 6. Now it does seem like I have a much better hand, because I was gonna say he has to have a 4-drop, because he just inks 2 4-drops in a row. So yeah, we're just gonna Cusco here. He doesn't really have many tools to deal with anything that I have now. Like, I don't think there's any way he can come back unless I make a mistake, similar to last game. Okay, so he drops his own Cusco, but I'm really far ahead. If I wanted to, I could have someone sing Be Our Guest, just to like set up a next turn. But I mean, there's no point. There's no way he can clear this. He would have to summon. He would have to use a bunch of like Mother's Knows Best, or summon a genie, but even then he would only be able to hit 1 or 2. Alright, that's GG. Alright, let's just pretend like that was our first game and head to the second one. So maybe we'll get a different opponent this time. I should have looked at his name. I think I'll remember it though if I see it again. I think this is a different guy. Okay, same game plan as the other games. Keeping Cusco is pretty good, but I really want to find Lilo or Simba. Yeah, there they are. They're not too hard to find. The only downside to a huge mulligan like that is the off chance you draw a bunch of uninkables. Because I have Flynn and Simba, they're very superior to LeFou. LeFou's really good if you just have no other options. Now I could have instead inked Stitch, but he's not bad to keep in your hand in case you draw the other one, the big Stitch. But yeah, I mean LeFou's okay. He's really clutch if you don't have Flynn or Simba. Now in this instance, on turn 3, I kind of want to summon both of these on turn 3, or both of these on turn 3. So I'm gonna ink the cat. He didn't respond, so using Flynn just to speed up the lore. One more than Simba would be. So yeah, he's running a Ruby deck. Interesting. Tangle. I'll be honest, I don't know if I've ever seen a single person ever run Tangle. So a little risky here to not keep one of these to ink next turn. You know, I could run into some ink problems. But worst case scenario, I ink Tinkerbell and summon Hades. I just don't get his ability. But Hades is a really great card in this deck, because this deck doesn't really have much card draw. You won't often use Stitch, and you won't often use Rapunzel. And so you'll need to use Hades, basically, to draw cards. But we did get Cheshire Cat, so we can do this here. And he is, you know, Amethyst Ruby, so what we're going to look out for is turn 5, turn 7. So on 5, you know, he can Dragonfire something, and on 7 he can be prepared everything. And so the goal is to win before that moment. If he be prepares, or if he casts be prepared, then he can completely flip the game in his favor. We can be at 18 lore even, and he can win the game. And honestly, Tangle is an interesting tech card into aggro, but I mean, imagine if these were characters that he had on the board instead to fight into me. So it seems like it's not a great pick. I'm just gonna summon Hans. I'm not gonna worry about going to 5, because like I said, it's just a rush against the clock here. And, I don't think he can win. I mean, this is the turn 5 lethal right here. He didn't do anything. He hasn't summoned a single character. So here's the turn 5 lethal. So ideally, what you want to do with this deck against this is run Minnie Mouse, run Gaston, run Befuddle. Befuddle would have been great. It would have slowed me down by maybe 3 turns. But yeah, that's game. All right, game 4. I don't know how many games we're going to play, so we'll just see. I wonder if I should put, like, if I have a great win record, I could put that in the title of the video. And if I do that, question for all of you, do I count the first game as a loss? Probably so. All right, game 4. This might be the same guy. I don't know, man. I should probably pay attention more. Honestly, yeah, I just need to find some better openers. Okay, I got the 1, 2, 3. And as you might have figured out already, going first with this deck is so good. All right, so we're against blue. He has double Develop Your Brain on turn 1 with blue, so maybe it's a control blue deck. It could be Bell Ramp. It could be Ruby Sapphire. All right, so I haven't been able to show you guys Be Our Guest yet, so maybe I'll try to perform that this game. It's really good, especially with Simba. Simba wants to bodyguard on turn 3 almost every single game, unless you're against certain matchups. And so it's just a free scout of your deck setting up into turn 4. Wait, what did he just do? Another Develop Your Brain? So yeah, this seems like a late game red blue, which is fine with me because in my opinion, I think this matchup is even better against red blue compared to red purple, because at least with purple they have options to draw and find the solutions. So we don't have too many inking options. I promised I would show Be Our Guest, so we'll do that. Same thing as before, they're not threatening my 1-drop, so I don't need Simba. Also, I'm not too worried about losing Stitch. If it was Lilo, she's really valuable to keep safe. So. So this is definitely a ramp deck, obviously, with Mickey. So I suppose first things first, let's do this because it might reveal the card that we actually want to ink. Okay, so I'm going to take Lilo. This is what I'm going to do. Take Lilo, and then I have a great turn 3. Ink Hans. I don't have my turn 4 anymore, but that's okay. Yeah, we'll bodyguard. Sometimes it's good to not come out bodyguard, but he has no options to trade up anyways. Like his Mickey wasn't good to trade regardless, so you know, if he wants to try to crack it, he can. Okay, so he has that option for the crack. And this is really not too bad for us. I do think I might need to take care of it now. We'll see. I do have Genie coming up, but you know, that's a lot of ink that I'm gonna need to find between now and then. I guess he did do that actually. What did he discard? Bell? Alright, so what do we do here? So I think what I'll do here is, I'm not worried about him questing or anything like that. You know, I could trade here. You know, he only has 2 cards in his hand, so I think I will trade here. And I'm going to quest with Flynn. And what I'm basically doing here is he has to choose who to kill, because I'm going to leave Lilo. And I'm just going to pass. I know he can kill one and then the other next turn, but if he kills Stitch, he's taking 2 damage, and I can trade in really easily with anyone. But if he attacks Flynn, he has to discard a card. That's an interesting card in that deck. I suppose it's just defense against other Ruby decks. I mean, it's not bad. Aurora's really good, actually. But the problem is, this type of deck, you don't often have a whole board of characters. And if you do, then another Ruby deck would just simply cast Be Prepared. So yeah, I'm going to use Hades now. This is another reason why I wanted to go ahead and trade in, is I have options to summon up. And I think I'm just going to force him to attack me again. You know, he chose Stitch last round, and now he's one shot, so either of these can kill him. So yes, he's taking them out, but I'm just climbing the lore ladder while we're at it. So he just inked Dragon. He could be prepared on this turn. Okay, yes, Hades. That's pretty good. So this is becoming really starting to become an uphill battle for me, because he's completely turned the field. But gotta remember, this deck has no card draw, and so I'm not afraid of 4 lore quite yet. So here's the question: do I ink Simba and summon Genie? I can't target him with Genie. I could Mother Knows Best and then Simba, but I think this might be the best play, because he could just top deck Dragonfire. It would feel really bad if he top decked Dragonfire and just killed Genie. So we have to really plan this out. The good news is I don't need more than 6 lore in this deck, really. So I have most of the tools in my hand now. I think that I'm gonna do this. Man, if I had one more, it would be so good. But he still can't kill Cusco. If I had one more, sending her back would be fantastic. Because then, yes, he can kill Simba, but then no one could kill Lilo. I mean, sorry, Cusco, but he still doesn't have enough damage. So next turn, I have some options. I can summon either one of these or MKB if I need to. Again, he could easily be prepared. Okay, so now I wonder if he's going to double trade in Cusco. I mean, it's pretty good. So I probably should have thought out the scenario of him drawing Dragonfire there. The good news is Cusco has no touchy. And so, you know, I suppose my best move here is to just keep up the pressure. And if he takes out Lilo here, man, it's such a awkward number. Because now it feels bad to genie him up when he's halfway dead. Alright, so Aladdin makes things, it actually makes things easy for me because it's an easy decision to bounce him back, either with Genie or Mother Knows Best, depending on what I draw. Oh, that's a pretty bold move. So yeah, I'm gonna bounce Genie. And Double Quest. And he surrendered there. So, all right. I think I played that well, but yeah, I'll go back and look at it later. It might have been something else I could have done faster. All right, headed into the next game, game 5, 6, not sure. Love to see this hand. I don't have Lilo, but we got all our tools and we go first. Might pop out Rapunzel and one of the stitches to see what we can get. There it is. All right. You know, if you're watching this thinking about how lucky I'm getting, I have to admit, this deck, it just works, man. Like, the mulligans just happen. I think it's because, and I mentioned this in the other video where I broke down the deck list, but the deck list is just so streamlined. There's so many options. You have not several, but you have a few different 1-drops. You have a few different 2-drops, a few different 3-drops that it just comes together so nicely. I think this might be the guy that we faced at the beginning. So yeah, we'll see who wins the race this time. I'd be so curious to see his deck because, like, I want to know, like, is it luck or is my deck optimized better? Or because it's probably not play. It's probably not like I'm outplaying him on the mirror match because his deck is like really hard to misplay. Oh, okay, well, you know what? That was that made up for the first game, maybe. Instead of counting that one as a victory, I'll just cancel out the first game. So then I have an undefeated winning record now. Let's see if we can keep it up. All right, so we're gonna need a mulligan here pretty heavily. I'm gonna keep Be Our Guest because worst case scenario, I can either ink it or use it to find what I need. Okay, so we're gonna get a good game here, showcasing working off the back foot of a bad mulligan. Okay, well, it's good that he doesn't have anything. All right, so we got multiple cats. We can ink one. So he's got a red deck. I missed the first one. So, okay, so red, purple. This might be the other guy. Ursula's Cauldron is such a good card. I didn't mention it in my last video, but if you guys are running the Ruby Amethyst deck from my last video, I highly recommend tossing in 2 Ursula's Cauldrons. It feels kind of bad though because, hang on real quick, let me think for a second. Hans, we don't need 2. So what I was saying was, it feels bad in the Amethyst Ruby control deck to run 2 Shield, 2 Cauldron, 2 Mirror, and 2 Pocket Watch. But I've been doing it and actually running 64 cards in my deck, which sounds horrendous, but you'd be surprised with if you have mirrors and you're stalling out in the late game with control. I've milled myself to death several times. Which is pretty funny. So the 64 cards actually prevents that. So if you guys want to see a breakdown of that, let me know. So here, real quick, you can do this. So I already have Cat for 3-drop. I already have my 4-drop. I might actually grab Rapunzel because I could see him trading in early or something. And I don't think I need 2 Tinkerbells. Yeah, if he trades in early, then I don't know why he would, but you know, if he does, I can just draw some cards. I do think these control decks are sleeping on Befuddle a bit. Like, if he just summon Rafiki here, I guess like summon Rafiki, Befuddle this. I know he can't attack this turn, but like it's just really good. Like imagine if this was a Lilo, you just Befuddle this, Rafiki into Lilo, and then you just have complete board control. All right, so this is a great card. I like it later in the game, but he played it now. So it feels kind of bad, but I'm probably gonna ink Simba. Play this. And yeah, my goal is to just outrun their control before it comes online. Now that he's killed Simba, these are some of the best cards to have out, because it's like, yes, he cleared Simba, but now what? Like, this is basically kills whatever you attack it with. This can't be attacked by anything in this deck. Now, they're on turn 5 now, so they can start dragon firing. So if they can start dragon firing, then we know what to do. We got a handful of Cuscos, and we have at least a turn to quest with one of them, maybe 2 of them, before he starts being prepared. So he's drawing. That was pretty good. What's he got? Another mirror? Okay. Well, this is a pretty good turn. Of course, he's probably gonna be prepared it immediately, but it's probably what he's been drawing for. But on the off chance he can't get it, we can seriously threaten the game here. If he does get it, we have a Cusco to follow up. Oh, he's looking for it. He's gonna find it next round, maybe, with that Cauldron. It's so good. It severely helps the matchup. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'm sure he found that earlier with Cauldron. Maybe even drew it with Mirror last turn. But yeah, I mean, we're at the mercy of his luck at this point, because we've been very lucky. Some of the best cards we could top deck now is our last Cusco, or we have 2, I think we have 2 or 3, I think it's 2, Hades, and Hades can help us just pull back Cusco back into our hand. And so we can just repeatedly throw Cusco down and challenge our luck versus his. See what he has in his hand. He's thinking pretty hard about this. He's got Ursula. Ursula's pretty good card. I don't run her in my decks, but ooh, this is a really great card to draw, unless he has to be prepared. Now Ursula doesn't threaten Cusco at all, but Man, this is an uphill battle because every single round he's getting to choose one of 2 cards to throw at me. So he's got Elsa here maybe. I'm glad you guys get to see this because this is definitely something I've been adding to my control decks. For this very reason, because I mentioned that in the last video, I mentioned that Ruby and Amethyst, their biggest struggle is this deck right here, and this mitigates that quite a bit. He's thinking hard though. I wonder what he's got. I wonder if he has like, I mean, if he has Elsa or Be Prepared, he's throwing it down immediately, right? Dang, he's so close to dead. All right, we got to see what I top deck here. I still think it's a unlikely chance of victory here. Because all he needs is either one of his 3 Dragonfires, one of his, oh, he hasn't even used Dragonfire, one of his 4 Dragonfires, one of his 3 Be Prepareds. Although, you know what? A lot of people running this deck have been leaving out Dragonfire in favor of other uninkables like Ursula, and I think it's a mistake, honestly. At least in the aggro meta, but we'll see. Oh, that's crazy. Does he not have anything? There it is. Okay, I was like, dude, he's been scouting all game. All right, he's only at 3 lore. I mean, we have chances of doing this. So, yeah, I mentioned this earlier. Unfortunately, and what I could have done was instead, I could have taken something with a 2 cost, such as Simba, or even Lilo, since she quests for 2. And I could have summoned them as well. That would have given us the victory with Lilo. Well, no, actually, no. I was going to say even if they had Dragonfire, but we would have went to 19 at least. But I'm too afraid that he has Be Prepared. And now he has the ability to summon Maleficent Dragon, so let's just see. Yep. I'm glad he did it there, not on Cusco. I guess he couldn't choose Cusco, but still. That's actually pretty good for me if things get hairy, but I'd rather have drawn another character to play. So at this point, unfortunately, it's really tough because he can scout 4 Dragonfire and then draw it for 4 and then still have enough to cast it. Or draw Be Prepared and still have enough to sing it. Why did he surrender? Oh, it's because I'm a fool. It's because he couldn't target. he summoned Elsa and he couldn't target Cusco. So yeah, forgive me for sounding completely silly there, but I totally missed that. Yeah, unless he can't target Cusco, so I just win. His only chance was Be Prepared. Man, yeah, Cusco, OP. All right, what are we doing here? We got the God start again. Let's keep that. Let's do this. All right, still undefeated. Let's actually, I probably should have kept the other Stitch actually, but that's fine. I'm actually glad we got Genie and Maximus. I haven't been able to use them much. We had that one clutch Genie play, but I think that was the game we lost because of the glitch or bug. Okay. I'm trying to decide if I want to do another Lilo, but I think, I mean, this is definitely the best play. You can't even kill it. So Archimedes is fine, the one cost 2 2s, but I like to run Olaf, the one cost 1 3. I don't know, it just feels better. Like you can kill Lilo or Maleficent with Olaf 3 times. Not that happens often, but okay, so I'm not exactly sure what I want to do here. What I think I will do though is attack in, which is not something I often do, but I just know that with this kind of deck, they're just gonna draw a billion characters. But since I have another bodyguard, I can attack in and prepare to use him. Maximus is also really good because of his support. He gives 4 damage to somebody else. So like, I mean, just think about that. You bodyguard with Maximus, you quest for bodyguard, you support Lilo and she can attack into like a Cusco or a dragon even. It's pretty crazy. By the way, I'm talking an awful lot and I've probably made some mistakes. So let me know in the comments if I completely blundered something while talking. Go ahead and fix my mistake there so people watching will know. Are they gonna run out of, I think they just ran out of time. No, they're good. Interesting. Well, for the sake of tempo, I'll do this. I really wanted to keep Maximus there, but see, that's the type of thing you run into if you mulligan and land on an uninkable, and then draw one. You know what I mean? This is pretty good. I'm not afraid to trade in to keep board control, but I'm just wondering where their cards are at, because we're running out of resources pretty quick here. Well, that was a pretty good draw. But I'll do this. And a lot of times it would be nice to save this, but I'm gonna go ahead and ink it. So next turn I'm guaranteed Hatter or Genie depending on what I draw. And then since I don't have a bodyguard, I was thinking about attacking in, but she's just gonna attack me anyways, and I don't think they have a way of healing. So I'm guessing they're gonna take out both Lilos here, but it's okay. I'm 5 from victory, and I have an elusive on the board. So they are red, and so they have options here. I was gonna say Dragonfire, but this is better for us because they can't hit Tinkerbell. So they did that in order to keep Elsa. So that was an argument for me trading in, I suppose. Knowing they were about to be at turn 5, I probably should have traded in. But at the same time, now we're really threatening. So I'm tempted to genie that, but we'll just do this. So we'll force them to be prepared. Yeah, and they can't because they're on turn 5. So yeah, another victory. Man, how long should I make this video, guys? Maybe I'll end it there. I really do plan on grinding up to gold or platinum, but maybe I'll keep recording for a second video, and you guys let me know in the comments of this one if you want me to upload that second video of more gameplay. But yeah, that was a I call it lemon lime aggro, or turn 6 lethal. Although I think we might have seen some turn 5 lethals there. I might need to change the name. So yeah, I think we went undefeated if you don't count that first game blunder, and if you do count that surrender, we did really well. But of course, I am playing. I don't actually know how matchmaking works, but I guess it's possible I was playing against maybe beginner players. But yeah, I'll leave it there, guys. Like I mentioned, let me give a little sneak peek here. I've been testing out some really weird decks. There's this deck that's based around this card, Steal from the Rich. It's not a great deck, but I've been doing stuff like that. Some weird like mid-range decks, some weird Bell ramp decks that aren't the typical Steal ramp. But most excitingly, I have this mill deck. And if you know what mill is, then you know that that's real fun. Let me know below if you want to see some wacky decks like this. But my next video, I think, is going to be a tier list of all these different decks. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a couple days with that video. So stay tuned.